focus has been super questionable these last couple days, so I'm going to set a timer. This is from Daiso, and I'm going to memorize. I'm trying to try to get through all three videos for neurology clinical skills rotation. I'm starting tomorrow.
I'm kinda tired of all the wishy-washy. One day you want me and you love me, but the next you say that you just want some space and just some time to vote.
I'm feeling guilty because I spent the last hour and a half just like snacking, relaxing since I came home from work. Today was my first day of my new rotation on neurology at Victoria General Hospital. So I was feeling quite overwhelmed in the morning, just like getting used to a new hospital, new rotation, and really dragging out knowledge from neurology. Even though I tried to read some of the prep beforehand, I felt like I didn't know anything. But luckily I felt a lot better after lunch. I got to have lunch with Julia, who is doing a rotation here at the same hospital, and then by the afternoon I felt like I had kind of gotten more comfortable with the system, where things work, and kind of remember how to do things, put in orders, and so that was feeling better. So yeah, my plan was to come home right away and to do work, or to work out or do stuff. So, but whatever, the night is still young. It is at 7:45, so I'm going to journal some of the cases that I saw today and then just read around them. And then I want to read 6 pages of our neurology textbook. So let's see how successful I get.
One day you want me and you love me, but the next you say that
It is my second day of a new rotation in a new hospital. I am still feeling really disoriented, and I'm just trying to learn how to get over it. I think yesterday I managed to get over it, but it's just like, what am I doing? And then despite trying to read around cases last night, still just being like not really confident with my exam, and then kind of beating myself up a little bit for realizing that something as simple as like delirium versus worsening of a stroke, I'm still kind of shaking my head a little bit. I mean, it's easier if it's like I have a patient who I just talk to and ask questions about attention and orientation. But what do you do with a patient who had a stroke and is now like dysarthric, a bit aphasic, doesn't speak English to begin with, and it's just like, I don't even know. And it's a patient that I'm kind of new to, and so I felt like really incompetent. But I do feel really motivated to study, and the team that I've been on this week are just super nice, and so it's been a different experience compared to some rotations where I feel just kind of kicked around, I guess. And so this rotation, at least it's a little bit more, I feel like friendly in this environment, and it was cool. We had teaching today, so I'm hoping this rotation is going to go really well. But yeah, about feeling like insecure about knowledge, I feel like the sooner I get over the fact that I feel insecure about it, the more I can just focus on improving and getting better. And it's a waste of time for me to be focusing on feeling not smart enough. And I try to remind myself that, in fact, the fact that I don't really know what I'm doing, don't really feel comfortable with XYZ or know a lot about this, it means I'm in the right rotation, because I need to learn more about it. It just feels unsettling, instead of doing things again and again that I'm actually comfortable with. So trying to switch that in my mind. Alright, so now I've had some dinner, and the next thing I'm going to do is take a look at an application that someone sent me. First meal of the day. It's like 8 p.m. 7:30. This one was gunning too hard in the OR. I see. Hello, today is my last week here on stroke neurology, and today was crazy. I think we had like 4 strokes in a row, and then we had like maybe 3 or 4 consults all in the same afternoon, and it was pretty nuts. But I liked it because I really was hoping to, like, I thought this week was going to kind of be action packed, and I was like hoping they would end with some hot strokes, but I think I overestimated anyways. But I feel so exhausted today. I think I was there at 7:30, 7:45, and then I was on the bus home at 8 p.m. But right now I still have to finish dictating for one of my patients, which means like it's kind of like finishing the official essay on like what happened with the patient and the care, and But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Some notes for today. I think today just felt quite long. It was exciting because there was stuff going on. I really felt like I liked the people. I realized like having a good team makes a difference. Like people spending the time to teach you little bits of things was really exciting. And today I really felt like I really took ownership of my patients, which meant like, you know, like I like really felt like responsible for this patient. I need to make sure all these things are teed up. The patient, like, and I want to feel like the patient feels like I'm their quarterback. I'm making sure I know what tests are happening. I know everything about their story back to front. I know I help them have a clear plan of what's happening next. I was really like, I called so many people. I consulted for the same person. They needed this person. I arranged this appointment, and I did a whole bunch of things, and it just was, but I really liked it though. I felt like taking that much responsibility actually made me feel more involved and better, like, you know, like I'm really doing something instead of just rolling around. And part of me today also felt like a waddling duckling, like when we had the strokes. Like I obviously don't do anything during the strokes, but I was like waddling around and just like helping them, trying to take notes and just kind of trying to be present. And so part of me was like, you know, it was kind of interesting. It was a very big dichotomy. Like half of me was really involved in that, and the other half of me was like waddling around. And I guess that is part of my role here as a medical student, to be trying to challenge myself with both, and then also some of it just like learning osmosis. Something interesting we learned today was the fellow was teaching us about how to open these conversations about code status, which is like opening conversations about how people, like, do you want to be intubated, do you want CPR, and to number one, frame it as not who the family member wants for the patient, but what would the patient want for themselves based on their spiritual beliefs, personal beliefs, religious beliefs. So that was kind of interesting, and I think I will try to work myself to doing that kind of conversation at some point. Hey guys, I had a pretty off day yesterday, which was Saturday, because on Friday I had quite the encounter from so not the service that I'm on, a different service was pretty belittling to me. Not uncommon as a medical student, but really belittling to me. And then I was scrambling all around for patient care. So basically there's a patient under our service, and consulting service wrote down that they had ordered this and this and this and this, and we all trusted them. And so for 3 days later, we're like, oh, they haven't come back. When are these tests happening? And so just as a friendly check-in, I think I was trying to be quite nice about it. I was like, hey, by the way, this biopsy you ordered, like, when is that happening? Just, you know, can I facilitate any of that? Do I need to recall anybody, etc.? None of these were scheduled. And so I'm like, okay, well, I can take care of those, that's fine. Around and actually made those happen, and you know, that's fine. It's a patient under our service, so I should be responsible. But anyways, when they came, they were really like belittling to me, very like rude about the choices we had made, and I'm just a med student, man. I'm just the messenger. Anyways, it didn't feel really good, and I understand like everyone's overloaded and busy, and just left it feeling unpleasant. And it was also a really busy day on Friday. Like we had like 6 strokes or something like that, and I was like off discharging all these people. I was pretty sleep deprived the whole week, and then I have quite the headache yesterday, but I'm gonna take this morning easy. I'm gonna meet up with the friends.
How is gibberish scary? That basically doesn't know what you're doing.
No, I mean, it seems we're just spamming the chat. It's just
See, you're just a boy, and what I need is a man. Don't feel anxious, don't feel shame. If there's a question, it can't wait another day. Don't feel like it's all in vain. I try to remember it ain't a race. Breathe out, it doesn't matter anyway. Breathe in, it's about happiness in the air. Take it slow, watch the road. Stop driving myself insane. End of the day, you got me in to go dreaming. You got me.
Today was the last day of this 2-week rotation. It had nothing to do with the actual rotation. That was the biggest issue for me, was expectations of how I felt like I should be performing, how things the rotation should be going, etc. Like so many expectations, and so when things don't get fulfilled, when I don't fulfill them, I feel so disappointed in myself, etc. And so learning to not have expectations, to let go of all expectations is really hard because I have a lot of high expectations for myself, but that's what's the change that I started making, and that's really made a world of difference. So for example, expectation is whenever I got consults, sometimes I'm a neurology, so some of these are really complicated patients. I think this is also applicable to family or emerge or internal. Sometimes there can be a lot of factors and it's actually not clear what the diagnosis is, and I would be so hard on myself when I didn't know what the diagnosis was and I would get it wrong. And I think I was a lot more peace when I go into those consults knowing that I can at least report that these are my particular findings, these are some ideas or directions we can go, but not giving myself pressure to have the exact answer on what the diagnosis is or what the step is, because that's why this specialty consult was made, because it wasn't clear, right? So like letting go of that expectation, or being always hard on myself for not doing a part of the exam or saying something dumb, and really like ruminating on it. I think, like, for example, my preceptor asked me something that I should have known about my patient, but I didn't know, and I've been like so hard on myself. I'm still so kind of mad at myself about it, but I'm trying to let that go and realize that it happens. And I think now I'll know, so that's a really important thing to know about my patients. But realizing that it's just, as a med student, there are things I don't do, or I don't do the exam correctly, or sometimes someone else does the exam and it changes, and it's just part of the experience, and it's, you know. And if I keep thinking my experience has to be perfect, I always nail it, and I always get the idea, then that's not it. My story should be one where there's no test, I'm struggling and stuff, and you know, I'm the main character of my own story, and it has to be a little bit more interesting than everything just going well.
我度咧，miss 咗啲可以話食咁研究，我點樣將嗰個工程提高一啲？要表的，對不對？Jim, he won't go. He doesn't want to go. It's like, I don't have my clothes, like I don't have shoes.
See this? Drenched.
The last time I had fondue, elementary school, even though I don't know how we did it, it was hot fondue, and then me and my friend we put the chocolate like mustaches on each other. It was so funny.
Should we do it?
I really like yogurt, but they are a disaster with, you know, if you're lactose intolerant like me. So the lactose-free version is really tasty, and they have a mango version. And so the lactose-free mango, I can't eat it. So then I made him eat all my mango, and then he really liked it, and he ended up buying, he kept buying it. And then today in Save-Ons we found these. So this is yellow apple peach. I've never seen these flavors before because they always have like vanilla, blueberry.
My favorite.